All of the windshield, for fuck's sake. Oh, fuck. What the fuck did I say? That didn't sound for shit, did it? And here, under the hood, we stored something that'll really come in handy if it doesn't fall out and break my leg. Ah! What we're doing is we're building a fucking industrial film. Trying to give these guys everything they can get. I mean, that's it. Fuck it. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. We suppose we open... Gotta do it again, right now. Oh, fuck. 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 Oh, fuck. Shit. Tony, do me a favor, will you please? Will you? Will you do me a kindness?
Leave.
Yeah.
I think I want to be walking in and out if you're going to fuck up and I got to come back.
I don't make any difference to me at this juncture. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tony. Don't slam the fucking door. No more. Listen, I've got to give a clue here now. I don't want any more bullshit anytime during the day from anyone. That includes me. This is going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody. Want anybody yelling. We get anybody yelling around here anymore today, and then the shit is going to hit the fan. And they fit the diverse needs of a very big fern, and they fit the needs of a very diverse buyer segment. Why can't I remember? I wrote this stuff. Why can't I remember it? Why don't I say it fucking right? What does the goddamn line say, Tony? What is the goddamn line? I don't give a shit what the line is. I fucked up the word rear. I can't even read the fucking VO straight. What the fuck was that? We got flies all over the fucking place. Son of a bitch. Get out of here, you fucking flies. There's a fly over the headlight, Tony. We got flies coming for us. Fuck. Fuck out of here, you flies. We got 3 flies, 5 flies. And if you will, make sure, if you will, we don't have that fly on the left side, on the passenger side, because we don't have that in frame, but make sure we don't have any flies here. And we don't have any flies. Here we go. Get out of here, you goddamn jackass. I gotta read it again because my mind is just a piece of shit this morning. God, I can't fucking make my mind work. Tony, give me a towel for just a minute, please. That... I'm blinded by that fucking hot light. Goddamn son of a bitch! What do you mean, I'm gonna fall off the fucking thing? Fuck. Just keep running. Bullshit. I'm gonna slate this fucker. All right, I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
Still speeding.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass. And I'd like to kick your fucking head in. Meet innovation. Money. Fuck. Not even funny anymore. Son of a bitch! Jesus Christ. Fuck! Shit. Son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Shit. Son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck. Shit. Son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. Fuck off! What the hell's the line? Shit! What the fuck is it? Can't remember the goddamn line. The accoutrement that you will need. Accoutrement? What is that shit? I don't know, shit. It's just all gone. I get so goddamn diuretic when I sit here, and my mouth just never stops. For 1989, each individual storage compartment has this controlled light that you can put up your fern if you want to. How's that? What shot is it? Oh, shit. What did I do? Did I walk through it? It's going to be very helpful in keeping you from falling down, you big dumb son of a bitch. You're disturbing what's left of my brain. Yeah, but my mind is such shit. To say nothing of the flies in my head. Got a fly in my mouth and every fucking other thing happens. If I knew what the rest of the line was, then I would be in good shape. It's amazing how I just babble. Uh-oh. I guess my mind is going again.
My body is dismembered from my mind completely, which is pretty...
There's no words there. There's no words on it. We'll do it live. I've never seen that. Fucking thing sucks. There's no words there. Okay. Take it away. We'll do it live. Go. What does that mean? To play us out? To end the show? Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Dark Horse Live, episode 151, up in this bitch live. Back on IG, I think, for the first time in a long fucking time. Yeah, and also in 1080p. So I upgraded. None of that 720 bullshit. Tonight, I'm excited because it's officially 20 years of Bruce Banner. We were doing the math the other day, and I was kind of stunned. I'm fucking old now. Officially old man. But it's been officially 20 years of Bruce Banner, so we're going to get into that a little bit tonight. Also, because it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. Halloween's next Tuesday, so this is Halloween week. You see the spider webs and all the shit going on. But happy Halloween, everyone out there. Be safe, please. Yeah. Inspect the candy, kids. Parents need to inspect the candy and take all the good ones out first, all right? That's the way it goes. And since it's Halloween, I figured we'd divert a little bit from cannabis and go to 8 of the deadliest plants on Earth. A little quick segment that I wanted to do. So, yeah. Also, strain of the week, reviewed by me. Dark Horse strain of the week? Or a strain of the week? Strain of the week by Dark Horse? I don't know what you want to call it, but that's where I want to start because I want to smoke this strain of the week. And I can't until I show it to you. So I've been waiting to show it to you. You guys ready? Strain of the week. Dark Horse. It's not Dark Horse, though. This is Mile High Dave. Mile High Dave was on the show just a couple of days ago. Here's his fancy Mylar. I'm trying to get this focus for you guys. He's got a naked lady on there, of course. It's a little bit blurry. I apologize. But what's better than the Mylar is the flower. He said that he was going to show us some Dante's Inferno, and I wanted to show it to you guys. And it's fucking sexy, so let's take a look at it. It's like super, super covered in resin. See if I can hold it still remotely for you guys. Camera. Come on, camera. I believe in you, camera. It's not working. You're going to have to trust me as I get this to focus in some way. I'm going to play with it for a second. You guys need to see it. In all its splendor. Let me see if I can force it to focus. It's not going to focus, is it? Riveting YouTube for you. Live, unfocused weed. All right, I get my game a little bit better on this. I can't make it work. Super disappointed in myself and everyone else. All right, well, anyway, I'll describe it to you since you can't see anything but a blurry picture. Let me go back to myself since that's annoying. Anyway, I'll describe it to you. So this flower is really incredible. It reminds me of like Oreos or something that's just resin caked, resin covered. But yeah, it's like white on the inside. It's glistening, it's covered, and it has, usually when you see flower like this, I think of like bland smell. I'm like, okay, it's really white, huh? It's really covered in trikes. I bet it smells like nothing. But when you crack this, it's like pure cherries and pure like Kool-Aid. It reminds me of like those fun sticks that I used to get as a kid, the little white thing you dip it in, like lick it and dip it in the little packet. This reminds me of fun sticks and like the grape cherry kind of fun sticks kind of thing or whatever. But it's really nice. And I just wanted to shout it out. Shout out to Mile High Dave, who was a guest on this show just a couple of episodes back. So go check him out. He'll explain his whole history to you and everything else. I'm going to fire this up. But yeah, Mile High Dave. This is Dante's Inferno. I didn't even say the name of the strain. This is Dante's Inferno. And I don't know the lineage off the top of my head. Devil Driver to something? Maybe Oreos? but it's fantastic. And I believe this is Clearwater Genetics. Shout out to Clearwater Genetics. Mile High Dave found this pheno. But yeah, it's really, really nice. He's actually been giving me a few nuggets over the past like 2 weeks. And I was like, holy shit, man. I am impressed with this. So shout out Mile High Dave once again. If you don't know who it is, go give him a follow on Instagram. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. He said that he got a bunch of follows from coming on the show last time. So give him a follow. Tell him that Dante's Inferno looks stupid good. Because it does. Better lighting should get it in focus. You're right. Probably has something to do with my jank lighting tonight. Looks a little dark, shadowy. Professor Chaos. All right, sorry, I'm going to fire this up, and then we're going to talk. I think we'll do the 8 deadliest plants before we talk about Bruce Banner. And we'll end the show today with Bruce Banner. And obviously, off the top of the show, I should probably say it. Bruce Banner 3 specifically, S1s, Bruce Banner 3 Fems seeds are back in stock. The real Bruce Banner seeds. If you've seen the ABCs of Fake Seeds video, you know that we very limited put these seeds back in stock, put them back up. So they're in stock right now on seedbazaar.com. Drop happened a couple days ago. It's a little cheaper for all you premium members. It's actually like $10 or $11, $12 cheaper. I can't remember. But it pays for premium itself if you go ahead and grab that. But yeah, the seedbazaar.com has Bruce Banner Fems in stock while they last. All right, there's been a lot of orders too. So you guys probably want to get in there before we shut this down because it's burning up the old website. Oreo's a devil driver. He just won the Cultivate Cup. You are right. Oh, did he do the Cultivate Cup? The one that just happened the other day? I was going to actually try to enter that, but it snuck up on me. If he won that, then he won the Colorado Connoisseur Cup or whatever it was, and he just won the Cultivate Cup. So shout out to Mile High Dave, dude. He's crushing it out here right now. Because I do recall that they just had the Cultivate Showdown, something like that. But yeah, anyway, shout out Mile High Dave. This weed is pretty fucking nice, I got to say. All right, let me pull up this 8 deadliest, what is it? The 8 most poisonous plants on Earth, okay? I wanted to go over this briefly and kind of freak ourselves out. It's a little bit off topic from cannabis, but we're plant people, right? We can talk about other stuff, other plants that may kill you. I might save a life tonight. You never know. Doesn't really feel like it. Let me get my shit together here. Okay. 8 most poisonous plants in the world. Number 1, are you ready? I already have a little bit. I have to read a little bit to you about each one of these, so sorry. I'm not the best reader. Public reader. All right, this is Oleander nereum. I'm probably going to fuck these up too as far as their like common name or their whatever scientific names. But Oleander nereum is the most deadly plant in the world, apparently. Every portion of this plant is packed with toxins, making it the most dangerous plant on the planet. Oleandrin and nerein are the 2 most potent. The poison of an oleander is so potent that it can even poison someone who eats honey created by bees that have ingested it. Despite its lethal nature, it's used as a decorative plant and has a wonderful scent. They frequently are employed as road barriers, and quick growth is utilized to keep new construction sites from eroding. Most animals, as well as humans, are poisoned by oleander. Humans have died as a result of ingesting the leaves. I'm going to show you a bigger picture. Don't eat these leaves, people. It's pretty. I give it that. It's a pretty pink flower. Don't eat it. But that is the one that apparently is the most poisonous plant in the world. I'm not sure on this list. This is good off good old Google. So take that for what it's worth. Next up, the tree of death, which I'll try to say the scientific name. Hippomane mancinella. Hippomane mancinella. A tree native to Mesoamerica and the Caribbean Sea. It's the chamomile of death. It's also known as the tree of death. This fruit has a pleasant smell and a lovely apple-like appearance, but it's highly toxic. Because it's harmful to humans and possibly all mammals, it is known as the most dangerous tree in the world. A milky sap containing floribole is created when you scratch the tree, which produces burning, inflames the skin tissues, and causes blisters and eruptions in the epidermis. If ingested, severe vomiting, diarrhea might lead to death. Smoke from this plant can cause temporary blindness, as well as major respiratory problems if you were there while it was burned. So I'm going to show you a picture of this one full blown. Don't eat this apple-looking tree called the tree of death, apple fruit. And somehow if you smoke this, you try to like smoke a bowl out of this, you're dead. You ever try to smoke a bowl of an apple? It's actually pretty awesome. But I would not recommend smoking a bowl out of the tree of death. All right, folks? Next on the list, castor oil. Oh, wait, it's not next. I'm out of order. 1 second. I've made a mistake here. I shall correct it. Snake root. Snake root is next, number 3. While snake root is seemingly harmless plant, it was responsible for the death of Abraham Lincoln's mother, Nancy Hanks. I don't know who that is. White snake root is a North American herb that produces flat-top clusters with white little flowers and contains trematol, a poisonous alcohol. This plant produces alcohol. Animals graze on this plant from time to time, producing deadly milk for its consumers. Indeed, the toxin can be passed to humans through poisoned cattle, meat, and milk. Loss of appetite, nausea, weakness, abdominal discomfort, reddish tongue, abnormal blood acidity, and mortality are all symptoms of milk poisoning. Fortunately, farmers are increasingly aware of this and potentially fatal hazard and work to remove the plant from pastures. All right, so yeah, this will kill you, snake root, if the cow eats it. And you eat a nice juicy steak, you're going down from snake root. It looks kind of like a dandelion to me, like a shitty, weird dandelion. But I don't know, yeah, sketchy. Snake root, I never even heard of half of these, 3/4 of these, I had no idea. All right, next up is castor oil. All right, castor oil, it's basically ricin. Castor oil is a type of vegetable that comes from Ricinus communis. Ricin is sometimes known as the infernal fig tree, and is an African bush with thick woody stems and crimson or dark purple leaves, which are frequently covered in ricin, very deadly white powder. This drug causes nausea, stomach cramps, vomiting, internal bleeding, kidney failure, which leads to death in 10 days after exposure. Ricin disrupts human cellular metabolism by interrupting the chemical mechanism that keeps cells alive. Cells die and organs gradually fail until death occurs. For an adult, a deadly dose would be 5 castor beans. For a kid, just 1. Castor oil is derived from the seeds of this plant. So yeah, this shit would be a very unpleasant death if all of your organs just stop working. And it'd only take, what did it say, 5? Yeah, 5 castor beans, or 1 if you're a kid. But just stay out of the African bush. Don't eat the purple butt berries or roots or whatever you want to call it, beans. Castor oil, which I'm pretty sure castor oil is a pesticide. I'm not sure. I feel like I've heard castor oil many times in my life, but I was like, is that what they fry your shit up at? Oh, Wendy's? Some castor oil? But no, I have a feeling it's... I don't know, I feel like I've heard of this being involved in pesticides in some way, or a pesticide base from castor oil, but if it's that deadly to people, I highly doubt it. Maybe I'm completely tripping right now. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever heard of castor oil being used as a pesticide? All right. Next. This is rosary pea. I'm trying to say the name. Aborus picorius. Little red little like berries. Aberrin, a highly deadly ribosome inhibiting protein, is found in these prompulously tilted seeds, also known as Jeriquididae beans. Sorry, I'm butchering this a little bit. While these seeds are not dangerous when whole, if scratched, fractured, or bitten, they can be lethal. Rosary peas are the type of tropical pea that is widely used in rosaries and jewelry. Many jewelers have reported becoming ill or died as a result of accidentally pricking their hands when working with these seeds. Because it only takes 3 micrograms of aberrin to kill an adult, far less more than amount of poison in 1 seed. Aberrin is like ricin, stops cells from making protein and can cause organ failure in as little as 4 days. So if you scratch yourself with one of these little peas, you're dead in 4 days. You ever think of like Bear Grylls shit? Like if you were just stuck in somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere and you're just walking around trying to eat shit? You don't really know, do you? Even a fucking good old Boy Scout's like, fuck it, let's give it a shot. You'd be dead in 4 days, bud. Eagle Scout dead. Actually, Eagle Scout should probably know not to eat this shit. But regardless, rosary pea looks fucking pretty nasty, and I wouldn't eat it regardless. All right, next up, deadly nightshade. Which I feel like this is like some Game of Thrones shit. Don't they use like hint of nightshade in Game of Thrones to get high? The scientific name is Atropia belladonna. Without a doubt, deadly nightshade is one of the most lethal flowers for humans, with medical characteristics as well. The deadly nightshade, with its dull dark green leaves and bell-shaped purple blooms, is perhaps the plant with the most terrifying name. It grows to a height of 1.5 meters and may be identified by its dull dark green leaves and bell-shaped purple flowers. Belladonna, or deadly nightshade, is a plant that can cause death through toxic hallucinations. Wait, not toxic. I'm going to read that again. Or deadly nightshade is a plant that can cause death through causing hallucinations. The toxin targets the nervous system, causing involuntary muscle paralysis and at the nerve ends. So you just start tripping your balls off and you kill yourself somehow? It will kill you because of hallucinations? Dilated pupils, light sensitivity, impaired vision, headaches, and disorientation are some of the symptoms. A youngster can be killed by as few as 2 berries, where an adult can be killed by 10 to 20 berries. So this is the shit that they'd be killing each other with in like medieval times. Just get a couple of nightshade berries of the old belladonna. I don't know. I always find plant science like fascinating and other uses for plants. And I mean, they always say poisoning is like a woman's drug, but I just thought it was kind of like creative that there's like in all those old medieval shows, there's always like some like poison master. He's like, yes, I am the like botanist of this village, and I will tell you how to like heal yourself or kill yourself. But there's nightshade. Lily Valley. Never heard of this. This is the 7th deadliest. Lily Valley. Walter White utilized this sweet-looking plant for some not-so-sweet crimes, as Breaking Bad fans will recall. People who consume this hazardous components, known as cardiac glycosides, might have symptoms such as dizziness, vomiting, rashes, and diarrhea, which can lead to hospitalization. Those tiny bells can potentially kill you if left unchecked. So yeah, this little white lily-looking flower, if you eat it, apparently Walter White used it to kill people in Breaking Bad. I don't remember that. What did Walter White do? Let me know in the comments. He made some sort of poison out of this to kill somebody. Lily of the Valley. Steer clear. And the last, most deadliest plant in the world, poisonous plant in the world, is called, I think it's called the voodoo plant. Vulgar Draculonius. Vulgar Draculonius. Stink lily, voodoo lily, and snake lily are all common names for Draculonus vulgaris. It emits the stench of decomposing flesh, which attracts flies. These flies assist in pollination, but the odor dissipates after a day. The voodoo lily, as its name suggests, despises direct sunshine and prefers to be in the shade. You already know that every part of this plant is toxic if eaten. This deadly flower can induce skin damage or allergic reactions just by touching it. These are our top picks for the most 8 dangerous plants. I got this from nurserylive.com, if you're curious. Nurserylive.com, shout them out. But yeah, this plant smells like a dead person, which brings in flies. So that's got to be disgusting. And the name of the plant is vulgar. So yeah, I think it only smells like a dead body for one day. But that's how it does its pollinations, through mimicking dead people, dead flesh, or decomposing whatever. People, animals. Disgusting. Imagine putting that in your house. Like, it smells a little rank in here. All right, everybody, there's your 8 most poisonous plants in the world that I found searching Google. I might be wrong. But yeah, shout out in the comments. Let me know. Let me know if you heard of any of these, if you learned anything, if you know someone who's eaten any of these things, touched these things. But yeah, steer the fuck clear, huh? All right, that's it. So I think what I'm going to do right before I start talking about Bruce Banner is give some away.
It's free!
All right, it is free. It is free. Bruce Banner 3, Fems seeds, 6-pack, on sale right now, cbazaar.com. I'm going to go ahead and give away 2 packs right now to 2 different people. darkhorsegeneticslive@gmail.com. In the subject line, write, oh, fuck. What do I want to write? Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. And I will pick it'll be a lot of people, so I'll pick the 75th person and 100th person. 75 and 100. I'll give away 2 packs of Bruce Banner 3 Fem S1 seed. Like I said, and it's a celebration of 20 fucking years tonight. 20 years. 20 years of Bruce. Good luck, everybody. We should be caught up on like all of the giveaways and shit. So if you have tried to win in the past and didn't get an email back, then you didn't win. But I think all the giveaways are pretty much there. I will also say this with C-Bizarre stuff is it's starting to get like a lot of orders, so it's going to take a minute. And all the Bruce Banner stuff doesn't ship till basically the first week of November anyway. But yeah, that's your free shit of the week. We're going to go back to Bruce Banner. And I'm just going to go down memory lane just a little bit on this strain. And I don't know what I want to say on this. I think we've already done the topic of Bruce Banner for a show, but I think I'm going to touch on what Bruce Banner is, how it was made, the creation of it, what it means to me, and how we're still talking about Bruce Banner 20 years after the fact, which to me blows my fucking mind. It also makes me feel really fucking old at points. But yeah. Oh, good old Bruce Banner. This is like a love letter to Bruce Banner. This is what I'll call it, because basically Bruce Banner changed my life completely. Like without Bruce Banner, damn, I almost get emotional. Without Bruce Banner, I don't like know where I would be, to be honest. It changed everything about the trajectory of my life in many ways. Friendships, opportunities to travel, like just tons of stuff. Like it really, getting on the cover of High Times was the thing that really springboarded my career into like investors wanting to fuck with us and like being able to open shops in multiple places, having the phone kind of ring off the hook, getting license deals in different places throughout the country. But yeah, it's kind of amazing like how one strain changed a lot, like for me personally, like a lot for me personally. But yeah, before I get like too mushy on it, I'm just going to go back and talk about what it is, where it comes from. If you've heard of Bruce Banner, I hope most of you have heard of Bruce Banner. If you don't know, I'll give you a little education on it. But Bruce Banner is a signature strain that I made 20 years ago. Basically, it was made it was pollinated in October or harvested in October. The seeds were actually cracked, and the phenols were found early in like January. So that would be 2005 or something like that. But yeah, this is more 2004 when the seeds are officially made. And I made these seeds in college. I was in college and I was trying to pay my way through college, and it was a love affair. I wasn't what I considered to be a breeder at the time. I didn't really like have aspirations of selling seeds at the time. It was just about putting something together that yeah, like I said, it was originally just called Strawberry Diesel. So all I did was I had this connection to people in Colorado. I'll tell this story real quick. The first strain, I have a hernia. So the way I got a hernia is because I met this dude at the Gothic Theater, and he had some Fort Collins cough in his pocket. And this was the days of Beasters. I was in high school. I was like this is a long time back. But I was in high school, and this dude gave me some Fort Collins cough. And I remember sitting in the back of the car smoking this cough. And I remember feeling a pop in my groin. And it was like, what was that? And I had no idea what it was. And you go in for your sports physical the next year, and they tell you got a hernia. You got an ingroinal hernia. And it's down like in the crease of your groin. And I literally got I was coughing my ass off from the cough in the time we were smoking bullshit. But the reason I tell you that story is because that is a guy who mentored me. His name's Mark Hale. I know I have permission to say his name. But Mark Hale mentored me from that point forward. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be your guru. It was just more like, who the fuck are you? Like, you have weed that just blew my mind. So I started to learn from him how he grew pot. And when I learned from him how to grow pot, and he wasn't like, let me come show you everything. It was more like, we're going to go to this concert, and I'll see you there, and I'm going to pick his brain on shit. I'm going to read everything I can read and consume all this shit off the forums and the internet and every cannabis book in print in the English language that I've read them all, and I was just like trying to consume it all. And then I come talk to this guy. I'm like, what do you think about this, that? And he was an old head, and he's like, let me just, it took a long time for me even to show me a plant. But eventually he brings me to his garden, and he shows me how he does things, and he teaches me about age-old organics, something I've been preaching about for years on this show. He teaches me about age-old organics, and he shows me the cough. And then, more importantly, he shows me the OG Kush for the first time. And when I smoked OG Kush, I was like, holy fuck, it changed my world. It's one of these strains that I talk about when your head snaps around and you're like, what the fuck was that? While the cough may have given me a hernia, the OG Kush made me fall in love with cannabis. I was like, what is this? To me, it was better than sour diesel. I know people will be like, what? But I had tried sour diesel and I loved it. But when I tried OG Kush, I was like, holy, it's like fucking tastes like better than OG, and it's way more stony and narcotic. And I like my weed to be like sedative. Like, set me in the fucking couch sedative. So, anyway, so he gives me my first glimpse of OG Kush, and I was like, holy fuck, like, this is it for me. Like, this is it. And as I moved to go to college at this time, I decided to go out to college in Montana, Missoula, Montana. Shout out Missoula. I love Missoula, Montana so much. It's one of the best places on earth. But I went to college there, and that's when I was growing like on my own, but it was so clandestine. You couldn't tell a fucking soul what you were doing. But I do recall getting the OG Kush cut from my friend Mark Hale. And I was like, this is like the most special shit in the world. So I brought it back to my little grow in Missoula, Montana, and I started growing it. And I was like, this is my personal smoke. This is my shit. And at the same time, I was following the forums and everything else. And say what you want about Reservoir Seeds and Res Dog. Personally, not a big fan. But during that time period, he was one of the first people to be working with like a sour diesel and a strawberry diesel in a seed form. So when he came out with strawberry diesel and seed, it kind of broke the internet. Like, everybody was like, it was almost like a Daz drop before before there was Daz drops. It was like we all went to these auction sites, and I mean, they were smart in putting them up for auctions, but when you get to the end of the auction, sniping was like crazy to the point where like the websites would crash. So I'm throwing in my auction bids, and the website crashes. And I wake up the next morning. I had no idea if I won, but I remember the auction was in like Europe, so I was staying up all night to try to like win these auctions. And I'm, in college, so I'm fucking sleepwalking through school, daydreaming about fucking seeds and grows and OG Kush, and marijuana is completely illegal. I was in business school with a minor in botany. I wasn't really trying to be something other than some sort of businessman, but I also was deeply like passionate about cannabis. But anyway, I woke up the next morning to find this email where I'd won these seeds, these strawberry diesel seeds, and I knew that the whole internet was like a buzz about, who was the lucky 15 people that got these or whatever the fuck it was. And I was like, I'm one of them. So, and I knew right then and there, I'm not a breeder, but up to that point, I had cracked a bunch of seeds. And every seed that I've ever got that was a male, I just chucked it out because it was useless to me. And I had no value in males. I was scared of them. I was like, I want these out of here. They'll fuck up my crops. So I kept that male from the strawberry diesel seeds. I immediately got in the mail, immediately cracked them. And the first thing I thought was put this to that OG Kush, because you love OG Kush. And you love sour diesel, and you love strawberry Kush, and you love all these. This is like your holy grail. This is like the most natural thing I ever did. I didn't think it through. It was just like, no shit, dumbass. This is what you're doing. You're taking your best OG, the best plant you have right now, which is this OG, and you're taking this hype ass fucking seed, and you're gonna put it together. And I'll say this: when shit was hype back in the day, it was hype for a reason. Like, nowadays, shit's hype for fucking dumb shit. Like, you don't know. Just because it's hype doesn't mean shit to me anymore. But what I will say is, like, when shit was hype back then, it got your attention, and people were like, what the fuck? Like, it would crash a website because it was fucking good, and it was special. So I had that shit, and it was like no-brainer. You put it together, and I made this cross. I called it Strawberry Kush because I had the OG Kush and the Strawberry Diesel. And I put them together, and I remember being uncomfortable about it a little bit. I had tried a few minor breeding projects before where I remember in the books where they tell you to like pollinate a branch and then put a bag over the branch and like shake it up, and then you could take the baggie off after a couple of days. So I was trying to do these pollinations where I would pollinate multiple branches with multiple different kinds of pollen just to like play around until I kind of got more of a flow of what I was doing. But I did learn, and then I eventually used that strawberry diesel when I was kind of comfortable with what I was doing, back to the OG Kush. And in those seeds, I only got about 200 seeds out of that plant, that original plant where the actual Bruce Banner 3 comes from. But I only got about 200 seeds. And I remember taking those seeds or that bud, because we had harvested the bud, it was OG Kush. I loved OG Kush. So, of course, I'm going to smoke it. Even back then, like, I was smoking the OG, even if it was seeded. And I would pull the seeds out and, like, this is, I'm not selling these. These are my seeds. So I remember going out to a strain cheese show, and I had a bunch of this OG Kush on me. And everyone's like, you got flour? Hey, like, Hulk, you got flour, man? You got flour? And I was like, oh yeah, I got some, back at the old campsite and shit. So I go back, but I didn't really want to sell it to anybody because I knew it was seeded and I knew I needed these seeds back from the project that I just done. And I knew they would bitch because it's seeded. So I was like, you don't really want my OG. Like, I'm smoking it and they hit like, oh, I want some of that OG. I'm like, yeah, but it's all seeded. I got to like pluck through it and shit, like to get a good joint. Like, it's not, they're like, I'll take some. I don't care. I'll take it. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll give it to you, but you have to give me the seeds back. Like, I need these seeds back. They're important to me. So I gave out, I don't know, fucking quarter pound a pod or whatever the fuck it was. And I probably got back like 10 seeds out of all that weed. And I never got the seeds back from passing it all out. So I kind of always think in the back of my mind, like, what would have been if that day I would have been more stingy and been like, I don't have any weed for sale. And I kept all of those seeds to pheno hunt through all of it. There would have been more different banner phenotypes in the world. But I think I only saved probably about 50 seeds for myself through my own smoke. And when I cracked those seeds, that's when I found what I consider to be like my holy grail. Even then, I was like, holy shit, like, it's weird to talk about because I knew it immediately. Like, when the plant was growing, I was like stem rubbing it and shit. I was like, oh, this is special. This is going to be good. And then when it kind of started to get closer to harvest and I'm like, it's getting greasy and it's got this like OG Kush Dom look to it. And I was like, this is going to be my jam. I can tell this is going to be my jam. And then when I got to smoke it, I just remember to this day, 20 years ago, the moment I smoked Bruce Banner for the very first time in my house in Missoula, Montana, in a little shitty condo, or not even condo, it was like a townhouse type of deal. And it backed up to, it was like a cabin. It was actually sick, but it backed up to like the wilderness. And I remember this. I literally I harvested it. I was drying it. I was like, I'm going to try this. I grabbed a branch. I pulled a nugget off, not cured, pretty moist still. And I fired it up into a bowl. And I was sitting right at my kitchen table in Missoula, Montana at my house. And I remember hitting it and I was just like, oh fuck, like holy shit, like it was another one of those like snap your head moments. And I was like, I love this shit. This is like what I'm looking for. This is like a little bit more berry OG Kush. This OG Kush tastes a little bit more fruity. Like OG kind of had that diesel, like gasoline kind of like gas kind of, back end on it. Whereas this added a little bit more like floral kind of fauna to it, where it was just like, this is a little bit sweeter and nicer. And like, I just knew immediately, I was like, this shit is amazing. And I will say, like, there's only been a few times in my life when I've bred plants and pheno hunted and knew immediately that I had a keeper that was like a keeper. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. And at that point, I had gone through many seed pops. Shout out, like, I had Juliet, like, shout out John Lee Pettimore, hooked me up with some seeds, and Bog and DJ Short and Lone Star from Texas. And a bunch of guys were sending me seeds, and I was, from the forum days, and I had these keeper cuts. They were nice cuts, but I knew that this Bruce Banner cut was, like, even better. We didn't call it Bruce Banner, though. We called it Strawberry Diesel. And like I said, I just knew it was special. But I didn't really know. Sometimes, it's like, you don't know if you're, like, fucking smelling your own farts on some shit. It's like, do you just think this is fucking good because you made it? It's like, are you so attached to this and so like kind of like proud of yourself? Or it's like, oh yeah, I gotta check my shit out and kind of thing. So I didn't really know, and to kind of test myself is when I took that to the next year's event up in Horning's Hideout, String Cheese Incident. I went up to that event, the same group of kids I had passed all the OG Kush out to the year before, but this year I had this new Strawberry Kush. And I passed it out to all the kids. And this one dude from Texas, I'll never forget him. Actually, I don't know his fucking name because he wasn't really part of the crew. He just sort of came up with someone else, a friend of a friend or something. But he came through, and this is a 3-day festival. And the first day or two, I sold out my ounces to a couple of people, friends or whatever, at the campsite. And he just kept coming back. Like, he got all drunk. We all got drunk, but he got all drunk, and he was like coming back to the website or the campsite, being like, where's that Bruce Banner weed? Where's that Bruce Banner? And like, it was him trying to find me in this music festival, be like, where's Bruce Banner at? I need that Bruce Banner weed. Like, and I didn't, I've always known my last name is Hulk, and I've always like, Hulk Hogan, Incredible Hulk, like, but I never really put Bruce Banner with Hulk up until that moment ever. And when he started calling it Bruce Banner weed, I was like, okay, we're going to call this strain Bruce Banner now, I think. And to be honest, it was a way to name the strain after myself, Hulk, spelled differently, but Hulk, and like do it in a secret code way. So when people say I named Bruce Banner after the Incredible Hulk, I didn't really. I named Bruce Banner after a pun on my own last name. And yeah, also shout out to like Oregon, who says it's marketing for children and shit. It's like, it literally has nothing to do with the comic books. It just doesn't. It's using a pun on Incredible Hulk. I see where you're going with that, but yeah, Bruce Banner was a way to name a strain. Instead of calling it Jason Hulk OG in a time when it was incredibly, illegal, I decided to go with Bruce Banner. But when I passed it out that weekend, that's also was my confirmation when people were like turning down all the other pot around, the camp. And these are heady boy fucking, fish type string cheese type Wookiee fucks. And they think they know the best weed in the world. So it's like when they're freaking out a little bit, I was like, yeah, I got something pretty special here. Really is pretty fucking good. And that was something that led to, I guess, me speeding up my process to get into the cannabis industry. Because when at that time, this is a story I want to tell just briefly, is, I was so scared to grow pot at this point in time that I didn't want to get a felony charge, and basically fuck myself for life on many different angles. And I was so scared to grow pot that I grew, and I just seen the movie Shawshank Redemption where, Andy Dufresne fucking tunnels through the wall and the tunnel of shit and all the other stuff. And I was just like, I went down to my little crawl space area that was basically connected to like another townhouse. And I popped my head down there, and it was about 2 feet, 3 feet. I'm not even lying, about 2-3 feet till you could stand on it. You could stand, and your knees would be like at the crawl space. So you had to crawl on your hands and knees around underneath this crawl space. But I didn't want to grow pot in my college house, or townhouse. I just didn't want to like do it because I figured I would immediately get busted in this small ass town. Everyone talks. I was just so fucking nervous. So what I did was I literally went down there I started with a tiny shovel. I'll never forget this. This is the craziest thing I ever did in my life. I started with a tiny shovel, like one of those backpack shovels, and you just took like a couple shovel loads, and fill them with 5-gallon buckets. You take the 5-gallon bucket out and you carry it out the backyard and you throw it over the fence. And I just did that. This is a testament to how good Bruce Banner is, because I was tired of growing in the spare bedroom. It made me nervous and scared. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go in this crawl space. And something about good cannabis to me is like work fuel. I can do amazing feats of human shit if I have like the best weed with me. I will stay up for like long periods of time. I will work my ass off. Like, for everyone that says like weed makes you like the lazy fuck, those say no to drug commercials where you sink in the couch kind of thing, I'm telling you bullshit. Because that can be an effect for everyone's body chemistry is different, but for me particularly, good weed will keep me awake. It'll keep me creative, going, energized, motivated, happy. Like, I will stay working hard as fuck. In a weird way, like, the best thing you can do to a labor force is keeping them high, because it keeps them, like, going at it. And that allowed me to go down to this crawl space, and I probably didn't take a break for 3 fucking weeks. Every moment I had, I was down there just digging and digging. And I dug that crawl space out to the point where I had to have a ladder. And you crawl down in a ladder, and I was down about 10 fucking feet underground. And I went over to the left about 5 more feet, and over to the left or the right about 5 more feet. And I carved in grow rooms under the house in dirt. Like, it took forever, and I carried it out, and I just dumped it over the fence, and then I built the fucking little hatch on the crawl space. And I built that entire thing, lined it with insulation, wood framed it, all the rest of it, put in ventilation fans, like a crazy amount of shit. And I also remember I got the idea because, this sounds stupid, but remember they couldn't find fucking Saddam Hussein forever when they were looking for that dude in Iraq all the time? And it turns out he was like under a rug in a fucking, underground, and like a styrofoam plug in it, and they put a rug over the top of it. And that was how my closet was, where my crawl space was. It had a piece of carpet over it. So you had to roll the carpet back to even see like the square in the floor. And if you had if you opened the square in the floor, you went down into like Jason's magical weed underground. It was fucking amazing down there. I had the best strains, the best shit. No one knew I grew pot at all. All my friends, because I always had all this weed in college, thought that I just had a plug out in Washington, out in Spokane, Washington. So I'd go out and I'd get this weed and bring it back. They never knew I grew weed in the basement because I was terrified. Shout out to carbon filters and everything else. But like, yeah, it was just a point in time where I was so petrified to basically do anything, with cannabis growing in the illegal time frame. So I'll flash forward to, legal cannabis starts to become a reality. We were one of the first people. I was one of the first people to come to Colorado and get a dispensary. I literally came down here on spring break and saw my friend get a med card, who was like, He's like a crazy felon. Like everyone has that friend, right? This guy had a crazy record. And he comes, he's like, I got a med card and I can grow 6 plants legally. And I was like, what the fuck? How did you get a med card? For some reason, I thought med cards were for like, you know, like if you had any kind of criminal history, you were disqualified. I don't know why I thought that. I mean, I knew it was for sick and dying people and people with, you know, pain also, but I was like, I thought that you were still disqualified. If you've ever been arrested for weed or something, there's no way they'll give you a weed card. And this guy had been arrested for weed like 15 times. So I was like, what the fuck? So that got me looking into getting a med card. And as soon as I got a med card, I visited my first dispensary, and I was like, what the fuck? This is like the first dispensary I ever visited. This is hilarious. Was off Santa Fe in Colorado, and it didn't have a sign. I don't know how I knew where to go, but I did. I think it was on Craigslist. And I drove into this place, and it was a print shop. And you walk inside, it was literally a print shop. They had people printing like large banners and posters and bullshit. And I'm like, is this where you buy weed? And he's like, yeah, right through here. You had to walk past this like print shop area into this back room, and like a dungeon area. And he pulled out like a glass case that had like 4 strains of like the shittiest pot you'd ever seen for like $85 an eighth. And I was like, oh my God, like what is going on right here? I was like, you're allowed to sell it? Like what the fuck? So then I met another friend, shout out Herbal Connections, Chandra and Scott. They had a real dispensary, the first one I'd ever seen in real life, where you walk in and security guard, they had a pool table in there, a bunch of people waiting in line to go in and shop at the dispensary. And like they had different strains, 10, 20, 30 strains in there. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is the shit. So at that point I was like, I'm going to do this. And I called every shop on Craigslist. I've kind of told this story before. I called every fucking thing you could find. I called like 900 shops to get 2 yeses out of like 898 no's. And out of my 2 yeses, I picked a shop that was on Broadway, Colorado. I'm not saying I invented the green fucking mile, but I was the first fucking person over there. There was a Kind Room way up north. There was Patient Choice across the way. And then there was me. And it turned out to be the guys who had the biggest balls to sell weed on Broadway with a $15 sales tax license and just hang out there and fucking do it. And we did it. And that is where Bruce Banner's story continues. Because while I knew I had a good strain, I wasn't really like hoarding it. It was just cannabis at that time was so secretive and so cliquey. Still is, but really then it was so cliquey. Like you didn't talk about it to anybody. You just didn't talk about it. That's how you get, you know, you don't talk about Fight Club. And this is how cannabis was at that time. So yeah, it was an interesting time because we didn't pass the Bruce Banner to anybody. And we just started putting it in our dispensary. And I remember kindreviews.com, I think is what it was called, came in. And they gave us their first A+ rating for any strain that they've ever done. And they were freaking the fuck out about Bruce Banner. And I remember that kind of built this line where this lore started happening about this strain in this shop on South Broadway and this Bruce Banner strain. And it happened fast as fuck. I mean, you see it happening today at some of the cookie stores, but you know, maybe not so much today, but you've seen when all of a sudden you get like, I say custy fanboy fucks like line up for like all this shit you see now. This was different. And I'm not saying the people that lined up for mine weren't like fanboys in any way, but what I'm saying is it was different. People were driving in from like Durango, like 6, 7, 8 hours with a lawn chair sitting in front of the shop being like, I heard Friday is the day for drops, or the phone wouldn't stop ringing. Like, when do you have Bruce Banner? So we had to have like a public day that we would like, all right, Bruce Banner Day is on the 1st and the 15th. And then like people would come line up on the 1st and the 15th, and we have to go out there and be like, what the fuck is going on? And it scared me because of the number of people and attention. And I'm like, there's going to be like press and media and cops and like, this is bad. So we went out and just passed out all these numbers to come back, you know, at 11 a.m. when we open, and we'll just serve them a quarter each. And that is the formula that built this crazy hype. You couldn't get the strain. You could only wait to buy a quarter. And once you got the quarter, people were coming in with their friends, their family, like everybody. People that didn't even smoke pot would be in line with their friends because they wanted to get a quarter for him, quarter for him, quarter for him. And it was for the guy. And it's like, whatever, we didn't care. But at the time, yeah, it was an amazing thing to witness. And I look back, and I don't want to sound like I'm patting myself on the back or anything with this, but I look back on that, and I think it's the proper way to introduce a strain to a market. And I did it by no like marketing genius of my own. It was just the way that it unfolded. Because the way that it unfolded was we were the only people that had it. We had this line going. We knew that it was a big fucking deal. But at the same time, it was such a sharing market in the industry. People would call me up and say, how do you do a dispensary? And I'm like, I'll tell you how. If you go watch episode 2 of this podcast, I tell you exactly how to start a dispensary. I told that to 100 people in this state. I broke it down to so many people how to start a dispensary. I helped people. And then people would ask for genetics. I'd help people with genetics. We would trade genetics all the fucking time. In the early days of cannabis and dispensary cannabis in Denver, Colorado, at least, it was a union, a brotherhood, and we were all together against like the people that were trying to fuck and shut us down and not allow us to do cannabis. And there was a shift in that at some point where I don't know where that shift happened, but it's not like that anymore at all. But the reason I say that is we knew that like eventually we should put this Bruce Banner out. And obviously I couldn't grow enough Bruce Banner. If I could grow more Bruce Banner, I would have had it in my store the entire time. But we couldn't grow enough. So it was like, all right, what's a solution to this? Let's approach some of the other better growers in the state and say, here, we'll give you the cut. You sell us back a percentage of the Bruce Banner back to our store on contract, and then you guys can sell a portion of it yourself in your store. And that's what we started doing, where we kind of like put it into a couple other hands to increase the supply of Bruce Banner. But I also knew it'll never stay tight like that, and I didn't really care. So I announced that we're just going to run this strain for 2 years in-house in the shop, and then on Christmas, we will give it away to the public. I shouldn't say give it away. We will sell it to the public. So I remember at Christmas time, probably like 2010, maybe 11, we started selling the Bruce Banner to the general public for $50 a cut out of the shop. And that is where Bruce Banner this is where I kind of fuck up the story of Bruce Banner. Because, and again, I don't know how this comes off, but that's where it became muddied. That's where it got super fucked up. Because and then it went everywhere, right? And why I love to hear that. Like, it's awesome to walk into a dispensary and see your strain that you made 20-something years ago on a shelf, and you're like, that's my strain named after me. That's cool as shit, right? It's awesome. But it sucks when it's fake, and it's not even remotely real at all. So right then is where, like, the fakery and the fuckery started happening, because someone would buy a cut for $50 and then take it to Craigslist and then sell more, or they'd name change it, or they'd, mix it up on accident. And then you flash forward 20 years later, it's a game of telephone 20 years later, and although my cuts, I assure you, are real and original, every time I see Bruce Banner out in the world, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? This is not it. And then I'll be frank, I've done mini seed release versions of it. So when I put seed release versions of it out, the original Bruce Banner, Banner 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, original Bruce Banner, F1, F2, I was like, there's now 6 different Bruce Banner releases to the marketplace. So there's phenos that are found in those packs of Bruce Banner. And absolutely you can call it Bruce Banner when you find a pack of Bruce Banner or a pheno in a pack of Bruce Banner. But now when you look around, that Bruce Banner 3 clone is not easy to find. It's not easy to find anymore. Or it's not, people just sell Bruce Banner as Bruce Banner when it's almost become a catch-all name for cannabis. And that sort of sucks too, because it is a high quality strain. And it is like, I don't really know how else to describe it. It's special, so that therefore it's faked, but at the same time, like, it's an original. The number 3 specifically is an original, and I'll talk about the specific phenos real quick. The Bruce Banner number 3 was the one that I talk about when I tell the story of Bruce Banner and how I thought this was the most amazing shit ever, and it blew my mind. And I passed it out to my friends, and they asked for Bruce Banner weed, and that was the OG Kush Dom. That was the shorter, more squat OG Kush, and it had strawberry OG Kush hints. I was like, this is fucking amazing. It grew more squat. It had more of an OG type yield to it. But then there was another pheno. There was a couple of phenos, but then another pheno that stood out. That was the Bruce Banner 5 pheno. And the Bruce Banner 5 was more sativa in the leaves. And it had longer internode length, and it had much more stretch on it. But it grew these golf ball chunks. And I think it comes from the strawberry cough, really, on that one. But it grew these golf ball chunks along the vine, kind of up and down the vine. And those were so potent strawberry. It didn't really have any hint of OG. It was just really strawberry flavor cannabis. And that was another one that we kept as a separate keeper. So the Bruce Banner 5 in particular is one of the most strawberry terp plants I've ever smoked. And the Bruce Banner 3 is one of these really good hybrids, really mixes well, where all of a sudden you get like, you're making a recipe, you're cooking, and all of a sudden this fucking recipe turns out bomb. It's like, that's what happened there. But yeah, when I talk about Bruce Banner 3 or just Bruce Banner in general, I'm almost always referring to Bruce Banner number 3. And another thing that happened was Bruce Banner 5 was obviously sold too as clones. So the Bruce Banner 3 and the Bruce Banner 5 got mixed up a lot. So the other thing that I'll see is when I go to shops or home growers come up and show me their banner, and they say, I got this Banner 3, I'd be like, you got the Banner 5. Because it's easy to tell. It's really strawberry. It's like super strawberry. I'm like, still Bruce Banner and it's fire. Just someone mixed up the numbers on it. Happens all the time. But we've done different outcrosses of Bruce Banner. Gamma Berry with the Banner 5s. And we've isolated Banner 5. We've isolated Banner 3. We've femmed it. We've done about everything you can do. We've autoed it at this point. Shout out to Daz. Yeah, like I say, Bruce Banner is a building block in a lot of people's breeding programs also. Like a lot of people use Bruce Banner to bump up the potency. Speaking of potency, Bruce Banner blew my mind when it was awarded the strongest strain on Earth in 2014, 10 years ago almost. But yeah, 2014, it won strongest strain on Earth from High Times, which again, like these are the things that just make your website like melt. People, all the kids that were out there like me that were reading these High Times and reading all these grow books and all these print books about anything that they can consume about cannabis and just daydreaming about it. They are now reading about Bruce Banner and daydreaming about that and sending me emails and calling the shop and asking questions about, is this real? Did you really make this? Like, is this a real store? Like, it was kind of crazy. But yeah, like it was crazy to leapfrog into that position where all of a sudden people are now like thinking about trying to basically buy these seeds, or one day I could grow this clone. If I could just get this plant one day, I want to try it. Or they're living vicariously through the pictures of the magazine and they see shit and they're just like, oh man, like this is where I want to be. So we would get these crazy emails and calls and visits to the shop from people that would be like, I just want to take it in. I just want to take this in, man. Like, and it was an awesome time to be a part of that. And I think I've mentioned the Daily Show on here, but that's exactly why the Daily Show called me. I'm not fucking going to say any other reason. We had a line out front of our store for Bruce Banner. People took note, and the Daily Show called us. Jon Stewart, Daily Show, all them fuckers, whatever, they called us, and they wanted to do an interview about like big shop versus little shop. And we did that interview. It's called Gone to Pot. They make fun of me really good, but if you Google it, we played it on this show. We get copyright stricken every time, even though it's me in the video. But if you Google Daily Show Gone to Pot, you can watch a little segment of my old dispensary, one of the first dispensaries in the state of Colorado, with Jason Jeffers or some shit that comes down and fucks with us the entire time. And they edited the entire video. It was a 4-hour interview, and they edited it to 2 minutes, and not one response I gave to his questions was the actual question he asked me. It was an edit chop job. That's when I learned about Hollywood and bullshit. But yeah, as it relates to like Bruce Banner and the journey, I've told the story before. I don't want to go into detail on it, but obviously we got away from the first dispensary. I got fucked. I got a tattoo of a knife on my back. I got fucked over in the ownership of my first dispensary by signing some papers to some shark assholes who stole my shop, and I left the industry completely. But Bruce Banner continued to move on and push on and like become a thing. So I would check in occasionally to like the internet and Bruce Banner, and I would see all these other Bruce Banner people saying they're Banner or they made Banner, or all these kind of like frauds or posers or whatever it may be. And I was like, you know, I don't know why I don't come out with my own seed line of Bruce Banner and Bruce Banner crosses. And that was sort of the origin of Dark Horse Genetics. Because like I said, I was screwed from the last business thing. I was dejected by cannabis. I didn't want to be a part of it. And I thought about it. And we had one High Times strongest strain on Earth, and we had to cover High Times, and we had this, you know, hype train strain. And it was like, okay, should we come back, or should I come back? Should I not come back? I was like, the only way I'm coming back is if I'm just going to, you know, make strains and do what I want to do. And I set up exactly what I wanted to do in Dark Horse Genetics and found the funding and did it. And we started releasing Bruce Banner in seed form. And that was one of the funnest things I ever did. It really was. It was really cool to go through all the lineages of all the stuff and find things pop out that were special. I really enjoyed it. Like, particularly, you know, particularly the pitfalls. Like, I like making mistakes. I don't know if I kind of saying that backwards, but I like learning. And the way you learn is by making mistakes. And the way I taught myself, because I come from an age where I read the books and I read the forums, but you couldn't really go take a fucking grow class and go to Oaksterdam University or go get some sort of weird horticulture like cannabis degree or anything like that. Like, you had to teach yourself, and you just had to fail over and over and over again until you learned. And I'll say, like, so much of my career has just been failing forward. like failing forward. And this is also part of the story of Bruce Banner. Like, still to this day, 20 years later, I can't keep them in stock on the website. I try. I cannot keep them in stock. I have international distributors that want them. I got seed banks that beg for them. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll put them up on my own website. And, we go direct through the Seed Bazaar. And I was like, if there's anything left over, I'll be happy to send them to you. And it's been 10 years of Dark Horse almost 10 years. And I haven't been able to keep them in stock to this day. Not at all. So I encourage you to go grab some. I don't really know what else I can say about Bruce Banner. If you guys have any questions, fire them off in the chat. And I will take a look at them. But that's about it for the show today. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Well, I made this whole graphic that I didn't even put on here. The whole show. That was supposed to be up there the whole show. Whoops. Anyway. Questions on Bruce Banner. Impossible to get in Europe. What's my guy? Pure Sativa. Pure Sativa, I told him if I have any seeds at all, the first person I'm going to send them to is Pure Sativa. What was the Strawberry Diesel cross? It was Sour Diesel to Kyle Cushman's Strawberry Cough. He doesn't have them right now. When we're done with our Seed Bazaar sale, we will, since whatever remaining stock I have will go to Amit, which will then be distributed to the UK partners. Because Amit distributes, the Pure Sativa distributes to most of the European marketplace. Any tips for growing BB3 for the first time? It doesn't like a lot of light. It really doesn't like a lot of light. Like, people like to just like par this shit to the max. Banner grows the best on the edges of the garden. It tastes the best on the edges of the garden. You can get it to perform. You can get it to yield. But it performs better in lower light. So if you got LEDs, turn them down a little bit. It'll taste better. Has Marvel ever reached out to me? Marvel has never reached out to me, and I hope they never do, because I don't think it would be cool. Although Stan Lee is absolutely one of my heroes in life. I adore Stan Lee. Rest in peace. But yeah, he created so many characters and was such a creative mind. And it's like one people I'd never want to be on the opposite side of. I hope Marvel never gets mad at me. But to be, frank, I don't think I've ever tried to market it as Marvel product. Especially now that Disney owns it. Oh yeah, the Daily Show did you dirty. They definitely did me dirty, but it was all in good fun. I look back on it and laugh, dude. And they did the other guy dirtier than me, so somehow they made us look all right. Any chance of BB5 S1s in the future? Interesting question. I've never actually thought about it, but if there's a demand, let me know. If you guys would like a BB5, the more strawberry pheno S1, I can absolutely do that. I just never considered even doing it. Good question. Any tips on identifying the number 3 pheno when doing a pheno hunt? Yes. The number 3 generally has 3-fingered leaves, and they're shorter and rounder. Short, fat, round 3-fingered leaves is an indicator to me that it's the Banner 3 OG Kush pheno. When you start seeing longer, elongated leaves, more like the sativa type looking leaf, it's not the pheno that we're looking for. There's some good phenos still amongst the seeds that pop out. But yeah, if you're specifically looking for Bruce Banner 3 seeds, you're looking for OG Kush Dom traits, OG Kush characteristics, but also a little bit tighter internode length. It's not as stretchy as OG Kush. What was the name of the Daily Show again? It's Gone to Pot. Just type in Daily Show Gone to Pot, and you can see it. A lot of yeses to BB5s. Yeah, we could do that. Just change your name to Bruce. There is a decent amount of bulk regs available, yes. If you want real bulk, just contact us directly, and we can do like large bulk. But I think we have 100 packs up there on the bazaar right now. There's a decent amount of them, yeah. Grand Prix dates still the same. Book your plane ticket. Yeah, Grand Prix dates are still the same, basically. It's looking like we may squeeze it into 2 days, because I don't think we're going to get to the 200 people. It's probably going to be similar to the first year type prize money, first year type attendance. We'll see. I have to really start ramping up on it. But yeah, if you guys don't know, thanks for the lead into the 100kgrandprix.com. It is going on almost 1 month from now, basically. About 5 weeks from now, we're going to be doing a cannabis contest that's like a bracket, like March Madness style. Anyone can enter. I don't care if you're a home grower, grow pro. I don't care where you're from. As long as you're in Las Vegas on December 1st through the 3rd. I think we might do the 2nd through the 3rd. But either way, the dates that are tentatively the 1st through the 3rd. So if you're booking or you're coming out, 1st through the 3rd is when you need to be there. And the event will be crowned on the 3rd. And there are 2 days of competition. And you'll either be on the 1st or the 2nd is the days that you will be competing. And if we don't have enough, it might just be moved to the 2nd or the 1st. But either way, book your tickets for the 1st through the 3rd. It's a 2-ounce, $500 entry and winner-take-all cash prize. So at this point, I think that it's looking like probably I talked to Stone Ninja. I know Blue's in. I probably need a few volunteers, people that can run bud out to tables. So if you plan to be in Vegas for MJ BizCon, you want to hang out and attend this event, smoke some good weed. There'll be plenty of good weed to smoke after the contest. I do need a couple of events, so why don't you send me an email to darkhorsegeneticslive@gmail.com if you want to volunteer and help out at this event. And you won't be a paid gig, but I'm sure you'll leave with some flour in your hands. If you're in Las Vegas, December 1st through the 3rd, need a couple volunteers to help. And yeah. Also, there is no hash this year. There's only like 2 people that signed up for it anyway, so those will be refunded. And no hash contest this year. It's just strictly flour. There is no categories. And if you enter, you are a competitor yourself. So you need to be present to smoke and judge. And it's about a 4-hour smoke session. So come ready. Be prepared. You can do it. All right. Let me shout out Dutch real quick. You do all of our sponsors. CBazaar Premium, cbazarpremium.com or cbazar.com/premium is where you need to go. If you want to get premium, it's a premium subscription service that helps us all out, helps me out particularly through the off times when down drops, but it's $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month reoccurring subscription service. And what it does is it gives you early access to all the drops. The Bruce Banner 3S ones have been up there earlier for the past couple of days. Then I'd put them up on the regular side even. So everything happens there first. And if you want to get first early access to all the stuff, you need to go cbazarpremium.com and remain a member to continue to get awesome deals and cheaper prices on certain items. Yeah. Also, it's you can cancel at any time, and you get your 30 days still after you cancel. So you can sign up and cancel if you just want to try it out for 1 month. No worries. Grower's Choice Lighting. Shout out to Grower's Choice, growerssc.com. It's my favorite LED company. They super hooked it up for Dark Horse. Gave us about 130 lights. We love them. We use them. I like their controllers. I like the way you can demo them. I like their warranty, 3 years. I like the fact that they are easy to deal with customer service. Out of 130 lights, I think we had maybe 3 or 4 that had a bad bar after like a year. So they're really high quality equipment, made in Japan. I like them, and you should go ahead and try them out. Most of your favorite breeders are making seeds under Grower's Choice. LED ROI 720 is the preferred light all over the place. I'm telling you. Dutch, shout out to my guy Dutch Sensei. Dutch is a awesome YouTuber, Twitch channel, Twitcher, YouTuber, and has a cool channel about conspiracies, bug out bag equipment, protecting yourself, earthquakes, natural disaster type stuff. Like I say, he has cool software that maps the earth and kind of predicts an amazing accuracy where the next earthquake is going to be, and then tells you to be prepared, be ready. And he also will monitor the weird shit that's going on all over the earth and where there's underground bases and maybe weird alien activities and all kinds of shit. But we love Dutch. Go check out his channel. He's got way more subs than us, but he sponsors this show because he's an avid listener, grower, hobbyist breeder, massive seed collector, and friend of the program. So we really, really want you to go follow Dutch. He is the fucking man. Go follow him. He's got really cool shit on his channel. I'm not bullshitting you. All right, everybody. Toker Poker. I need more Toker Pokers so I can shout you out, guys. And that is going to do it. Let's say the cbazar.com has Bruce Banner 3 seeds. They'll probably, not last long. So I recommend, if you have any interest, jumping on there and grabbing a pack if you can. Also, happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you guys stay safe and hope you guys have an awesome Halloween like costume party, whatever you guys are going to be doing. Yeah, I don't know. Send in pictures of your best Halloween outfits, and maybe next week we'll show them on the show. If you guys got really good, I'm talking high level Halloween shit that I will post it, or I will literally air it on this program. Show me your high level Halloween costumes, and I will post you up next week on this program. All right, everybody, stay safe. Same bat time, same bat channel. Next week, 20 years of Bruce Banner signing out. Peace.